The political unrest in Dalton, Illinois, has captured local and national attention, with Mayor Tiffany Henyard at the center of the controversy. Known for her controversial leadership, Henyard has become a figurehead for numerous court cases, dubious rulings, and mounting scandals. Her defiance of legal scrutiny and public opinion has earned her the nickname Super Mayor of Dalton for her ability to dodge legal consequences and public outrage. But as tensions rise, many are questioning whether her defiance signifies strong leadership or reckless disregard for the rule of law. The most recent scandal involves her appointment of Ronald Burge as interim police chief. Even though Burge's certification with the Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board had expired, making him legally unqualified to carry a firearm, what initially seemed like a routine administrative decision spiraled into a legal nightmare when concerns about Burge's qualifications came to forefront. Despite numerous warnings from both the Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board and Dalton's town trustees, Henyard pressed forward with the appointment. This led to the trustees requesting a restraining order to prevent Burge from assuming the role at first. The judge ruled in favor of the trustees, but after a heated board meeting, the decision was overturned, allowing Burge to serve for 30 days as interim chief. This reprieve did little to ease the growing tension, as the trustees, supported by the Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standard Board, continue to argue that Burge should not be permitted to serve due to his expired certification. The controversy raised serious questions about Henyard's judgment, with critics accusing her of prioritizing political loyalty over the safety and well-being of Dalton's residents, and potentially undermining the legitimacy of the town's police force since taking office in 2021. Henyard has faced numerous legal disputes, questionable appointments, and personal scandals that have severely damaged her reputation. One of the most significant criticisms of her leadership is her lavish spending habits, with reports highlighting her extravagant vacations, lavish dinners, and even a Valentine's Day celebration with a private DJ and selfies. These personal indulgences have further fueled accusations that Henyard is out of touch with the realities of her office and is showing a blatant disregard for Dalton's financial stability. The controversy surrounding her leadership is compounded by questionable appointments, many of which involve individuals with suspect backgrounds placed in key positions of power. Critics argue that Henyard's focus has been more on consolidating power within her inner circle than ensuring Dalton's government operates efficiently and in compliance with the law. Her actions have raised serious concerns about her ability to lead effectively, with many questioning whether her leadership is driven by political loyalty and personal ambition rather than a genuine desire to serve the best interests of Dalton's residents. The combination of reckless decision-making, personal scandals, and a lack of concern for the town's financial well-being has left many in Dalton wondering if Henyard's time in office has irreparably damaged the community's trust in its leadership. Despite mounting criticism, Henyard has remained defiant, steadfastly defending her controversial decisions and refusing to back down. Even as public sentiment continues to shift against her, some of her supporters view her defiance as a sign of resolve, but many others see it as a sign of weakness that only deepens the mistrust surrounding her leadership. This tension escalated when Henyard became embroiled in a personal legal battle, including a high-profile eviction lawsuit in which she was accused of evading the legal process. Henyard allegedly changed the locks on a rental property she and her partner, Kamal Woods, were leasing from a former friend, preventing the landlord from entering the property for necessary maintenance. This legal drama has added to the negative attention surrounding Henyard, further eroding public confidence in her ability to lead. Henyard's personal and professional issues have become increasingly intertwined, and many Dalton residents are questioning whether someone who struggles to manage their own finances and legal responsibilities can effectively govern the town. The growing number of scandals, both personal and political, has created a toxic environment of dysfunction and uncertainty in Dalton's local government. Henyard's refusal to yield to public pressure or legal challenges has led to further alienation, making her leadership style seem more focused on personal power than addressing the needs of the community. Despite these controversies, Henyard has refused to back down, asserting that her decision to run for a second term is driven by her commitment to reform, despite widespread skepticism. Her first term, in which she garnered over 80% of the vote as an outsider promising to challenge the political establishment, is now viewed by many as a failed experiment, marked by legal battles, dubious decisions, and a string of scandals, with her approval ratings plummeting. The question now is whether Henyard can retain enough support to win another term. Her defiant stance has made her a polarizing figure, with some viewing her resistance to public pressure as a sign of tenacity, and others seeing it as an indication that she is more concerned with retaining power than meeting the needs of Dalton's residents. As Henyard's second-term campaign intensifies, she faces increasing opposition both within her administration and from the public, who have grown weary of the chaos and uncertainty Surrounding her leadership, the mounting scandals, legal troubles, and declining approval ratings have cast a shadow over her political future. And many Dalton residents are beginning to wonder how much longer they can tolerate the political turmoil that Henyard's leadership has caused. Whether her perseverance will be enough to carry her to the next election remains uncertain. But one thing is clear. Henyard's defiance in the face of legal challenges and public outrage has made her tenure in office increasingly unstable. The question now is whether it will ultimately lead to her downfall, or if she will manage to hold on to power despite mounting opposition. The road ahead for Mayor Tiffany Henyard is filled with obstacles, and remains uncertain whether she will be able to navigate the tumultuous times ahead. As her re-election campaign approaches, many in Dalton are questioning her ability to hold on to her position of authority. With the future of the town at stake, Henyard's tenure has been marred by a growing list of scandals and legal issues that have tarnished her leadership, and public discontent has reached a boiling point. The mounting pressure from both her personal and professional troubles has put her political future in jeopardy, leaving Dalton residents wondering if she can weather the storm or if her time in office will be remembered as a period of turmoil and disillusionment. In addition to the controversy surrounding her leadership decisions, Henyard is also entangled in a personal legal battle with her landlord over unpaid rent dating back to August. Her former friend, Jeanette, claims that Henyard and her partner Kamal Woods have been unresponsive to eviction notices and even allegedly changed the locks on the rental property to avoid necessary maintenance. Further damaging Henyard's already fragile reputation, this eviction dispute is just the latest in a series of scandals that have highlighted Henyard's hypocrisy as a public official. Many critics argue that her actions demonstrate a disregard for law and a tendency to prioritize her interests over the welfare of Dalton citizens, feeding the perception that she feels above accountability. Meanwhile, her leadership has been plagued by questionable decisions, including contentious appointments and dubious spending, all of which have contributed to growing public frustration. As her personal and professional issues continue to spiral, the scrutiny on Henyard's leadership has intensified, and Dalton residents are becoming increasingly concerned about how their tax dollars are being spent under her administration, adding to the turmoil. The FBI is reportedly investigating Henyard's alleged financial misconduct, particularly about her role as supervisor of Fortin Township. Federal authorities have subpoenaed documents regarding the alleged misappropriation of public funds, including dubious government contracts, extravagant personal spending, and lavish events that seem more suited for private citizens and public officials. These revelations have only heightened concerns about Henyard's ability to manage taxpayer money and fulfill her duties as mayor, further eroding the public's trust in her leadership. As the pressure mounts from all sides, Henyard finds herself at a crossroads. Many Dalton residents are uncertain whether she can turn things around and win back their trust, or if it is time for a change in leadership. With each new controversy, the likelihood that Henyard will retain power grows slimmer. Public dissatisfaction is reaching a tipping point, and many are beginning to wonder whether her defiant stance will be enough to overcome the damage done to her reputation and the town itself. In conclusion, Henyard's tenure in office has been plagued by numerous scandals and controversies, and her leadership has been called into question at every turn. As the town of Dalton braces for the upcoming election, residents are left wondering whether Henyard can overcome the political, legal, and personal turmoil she's created, or if the time has come for a change in leadership. The mounting pressure and growing discontent are leaving Dalton's future uncertain, and the outcome of Henyard's re-election campaign may well determine the fate of the town's leadership for years to come. The political future of Mayor Tiffany Henyard appears to be slipping away as Dalton, Illinois, faces an increasingly dire situation. The mounting public anger over what is perceived as her reckless mismanagement of public funds has reached a boiling point. As the town grapples with financial instability, Henyard's tarnished reputation and her inability to address growing concerns have placed her political future in jeopardy. Dalton finds itself at a critical crossroads, with the town's residents left questioning whether Henyard can regain control and restore their faith, or if her mounting legal battles, personal issues, and public disillusionment will lead to her downfall. Dalton, Illinois, is currently struggling under the weight of a significant budget deficit, which has only worsened the public's perception of Henyard's fiscal irresponsibility. The town is facing serious financial challenges, and some vendors have even reported that they have not been paid for months of services they've already provided. This mounting sense of fiscal mismanagement has raised serious questions about how a public official could be so reckless with taxpayer money, especially when the future of the town is on the line. As Henyard's leadership becomes increasingly disengaged from the needs of the community, her focus seems to be more on defending herself against mounting criticism than addressing Dalton's pressing financial concerns. Her refusal to engage with the public's concerns has only reinforced perception that she is more interested in protecting her position than resolving the town's problems. Public frustration continues to escalate as Henyard deflects responsibility, attacking political critics instead of acknowledging the discontent brewing among Dalton's residents. One of the most damaging revelations has been Henyard's extravagant spending habits. Reports surface that she spent an astonishing $443,000 on Amazon in a single day, using public funds for personal indulgences, such as shopping at stores like Walgreens and Wayfair. This scandal has diverted attention away from any potential positive achievements Henyard might have had, contributing to the growing sense of financial recklessness. Locals are understandably upset, especially considering Dalton is facing a $5 million budget deficit. The fact that their tax dollars were used on what many view as unnecessary and reckless personal purchases, rather than being invested in addressing the town's urgent needs, has only fueled anger and frustration. As the town's financial situation worsens, Henyard's grip on power has visibly weakened. Public pressure is mounting, with many demanding accountability and increasingly calling for her resignation. Despite the growing chorus of criticism, Henyard remains steadfast in her refusal to step down. Portraying herself as a victim of political attacks, her defiant stance has only fueled further discontent, as residents grow more concerned about her ability to lead effectively. Instead of focusing on the town's urgent issues, Henyard has remained preoccupied with defending her actions and alienating the very people she was elected to serve. Dalton is now at a crossroads, with residents unsure whether to demand a change in leadership or give Henyard another chance. Her tenure has been mired by a series of contentious decisions, financial misconduct, and personal scandals that have severely damaged her credibility, with Dalton's financial future at stake. Henyard's continued presence in office is eroding public trust at an alarming rate. The mounting issues under her leadership have become increasingly difficult to ignore, and her once firm grip on power is steadily eroding. As long as Henyard remains in office, the public's trust in Dalton is rapidly deteriorating, leaving the future of the town uncertain. The growing list of problems under her leadership has reached a tipping point, and it is unclear whether Henyard will be able to weather the storm and hold on to her job as mayor, or if the people of Dalton will demand a change in leadership that they feel is necessary for the town's future. As Henyard continues to hold on to her office, Dalton's political future grows more uncertain by the day. The town is now at a critical juncture, with Henyard's leadership rapidly deteriorating. Residents are demanding answers as they face the worsening financial crisis that has been exacerbated under her administration. The financial health of Dalton has drastically declined, with the general fund balance plummeting from nearly $5 million in 2022 to just $3 million by May 2024, leaving a staggering $6.5 million deficit. This has sparked widespread indignation among locals who are now questioning how the town's finances could have been so severely mismanaged. Despite mounting evidence of her poor leadership, Henyard has consistently denied any wrongdoing. In a contentious 90-minute Facebook Live session, she dismissed the charges against her as part of a larger political power grab, claiming that her critics were attempting to undermine her leadership with legal threats. Her combative demeanor and refusal to take responsibility for her actions have only deepened public mistrust and frustration. Many residents now believe that Henyard is more focused on protecting herself than on fixing the town's problems as the financial crisis continues to worsen. The public is left wondering how much longer they will have to endure her leadership. In response to the growing allegations, Henyard hinted at starting a podcast to shed light on the situation, but this idea has failed to materialize, leaving the public with vague statements and a continued lack of transparency. Her refusal to provide concrete evidence to support her claims has only fueled skepticism, and many are beginning to doubt whether she is truly a misunderstood leader or simply self-serving, with her actions directly contributing to Dalton's decline, while Henyard supporters continue to defend her. Her combative rhetoric and refusal to accept responsibility have only reinforced the idea that she is out of touch with the needs of the community. With each passing day, it becomes more evident that her tenure in office is rapidly approaching its end. The people of Dalton are demanding answers, but Henyard's failure to offer transparency or tangible solutions is quickly undermining her credibility. The political drama surrounding her administration is far from over, but it is clear that the longer she avoids addressing residents' concerns and continues to deflect blame, the more unstable her position becomes. Dalton is now on the verge of financial collapse, and Henyard's unwillingness to confront the issues head-on may be the final blow that seals her political demise. As investigations into her alleged embezzlement and dubious spending continue to unfold, it seems increasingly likely that Henyard's political career will end in scandal and failure. Investigations into Henyard's leadership have intensified as the scrutiny surrounding her administration grows. With Dalton now facing a dire financial crisis, the town's budget deficit has ballooned to nearly $5 million, becoming the most pressing issue for both local officials and residents. Many in Dalton blame Henyard's financial mismanagement for the town's worsening fiscal situation, arguing that one of the main causes of Dalton's instability is her failure to address the growing financial crisis. There is a strong sentiment among the community that Henyard is more focused on protecting her reputation than on fixing the town's problems, which has caused a significant rift between her and the residents. In addition to the financial debacle, Henyard and her partner Kamal Woods are facing eviction from their Dolton rental property due to unpaid rent, further fueling the perception that Henyard is unable to manage her personal and professional responsibilities. This personal legal issue has only served to reinforce the idea that Henyard's leadership is marked by recklessness and a disregard for accountability, both in her personal life and her management of the town. Critics argue that her inability to address Dalton's financial crisis, combined with ongoing personal legal battles, paints a picture of a leader who is either unwilling or incapable of tackling the most urgent issues facing the town. The town's financial situation is rapidly deteriorating, and as public trust in Henyard continues to erode, many are now questioning her ability to lead effectively. Authorities and residents alike are calling for accountability, believing that Henyard's poor leadership has played a significant role in the town's financial collapse. Despite this mounting pressure, Henyard has continued to shift the blame, portrayed herself as a victim of a political plot aimed at overthrowing her leadership. She has refused to accept responsibility for the financial mismanagement and instability that have plagued Dalton, further alienating the public and undermining any remaining trust in her. With each passing day, it seems increasingly unlikely that Henyard will be able to salvage her political career, let alone lead the town through its ongoing financial troubles. Her reputation has been severely damaged by a series of personal scandals, legal investigations, and her poor handling of Dalton's finances. As the town's financial situation continues to spiral out of control, residents are left to deal with the fallout of Henyard's leadership, which has come to symbolize chaos and instability. The mounting body of evidence against her, ranging from questionable financial decisions to ongoing personal legal issues, has left the town in turmoil. The situation in Dalton has reached a breaking point, and with public discontent growing, Henyard's ability to turn things around seems increasingly unlikely. The stakes have never been higher, as the public becomes more impatient and disillusioned with her leadership. Henyard's tenure has been marred by mismanagement, a lack of accountability, and personal scandals, leading many to question whether she is capable of meeting the expectations placed upon her. As mayor, the question now is whether Henyard is truly the victim of a political conspiracy, as she claims, or she is the primary cause of the unrest and instability that have engulfed Dalton. As her leadership continues to unravel, the people of Dalton are left wondering whether Henyard's time in office will be remembered as a failure, or she can somehow salvage what is left of her reputation and the town's future. With each new revelation, the possibility of Henyard being able to restore public trust and guide Dalton out of its financial crisis seems increasingly remote, leaving residents at a crossroads, uncertain about their town's future and the leadership that has failed them.